This is Sunny Love at Tech Love Reviews, and today we will be reviewing the Blade Inductrix FPV made by Horizon Hobby, bind and fly version. So what's in the box? Well, what you'll get in the bind and fly version of the Inductrix FPV is obviously some instructions in multiple languages, which is great, a USB charger, a 200 milliamp battery, no spare propellers, we'll make that very clear, and naturally the Inductrix FPV itself, which has a little removable cap cover for the lens. I can see people losing that, so you may want to keep that safe if you do remove that. And that's pretty much what's in the box. So let's take a closer look at the Inductrix FPV. So as we said, it's a bind and fly unit, so it will come with just the unit itself, a battery and a charger, and obviously some instructions. It will retail between £74 to £85 depending on where you buy it from, and I'll pop some links in the description below so you can help yourself to finding yourself one there. The bind and fly unit, obviously you will need your own controller. From what I can find, this controller works perfectly well. It's the MLP 4DSM controller. You can pick them up for about £20 to £25 on eBay if you search for those. Work perfectly fine, great for indoor flight, but obviously if you're looking to fly this thing on a further range, you will need to invest in a Spectrum compatible controller like a DX6 or something. In terms of an ready to fly option, there is one available. It comes with the actual controller I just showed you, as well as an FPV screen, and that retails for about £150. Again, I'm struggling to find retailers that actually have those in stock at the moment. Core differences from its predecessor, which was the Inductrix, which evolved into a tiny whoop after many modifications. The same frame is used, so it's exactly the same, so you've got the same risks of breaking your struts, which are these little plastic things just here should you fly too heavily or crash into walls, so bear that in mind. But the core difference is you've got pretty much a similar 25 milliwatt amp system in terms of the video feed. I'd say the camera system's probably not as good as the FX97s or 98s, as I find. Mainly in low light to bright light, the change there, I don't find the camera picks up as well. The other factor is probably the range on this may not be as great as, say, something here where you can see there's a much larger cloverleaf type of antenna, versus little sort of rubber bipolar antenna there. So again, just worth thinking about. However, the main advantage you've got here is no need to mess about with a soldering iron. All the camera and all the components are well concealed behind this unit. Got a lovely little cap there to obviously take off before you start flying, so bear that in mind, because I'm sure we'll have someone who won't get a video feed and wonder why. If you do take it off, remember it is easy to lose, so make sure you put that somewhere safe. And overall, as you can see, it's quite modular, so you can see the motors there can be changed just by dropping out the little clips, so no soldering required. So all in all, if you're someone that doesn't want to mess about with soldering irons and modifying things out the box, it's a great solution. And what we'll do now is give it a quick fly and tell you what we think. Okay, for quick setup it is then. So you literally take the drone. I've got my own additional LiPo battery here. You slot that into the little gap at the bottom, which sits that in nicely. Clip in your power. As you can see, the FPV screen's already fired up. Take your MLP controller if you're using one of them. Click the left stick in, power it on, and that will put it into bind mode. And momentarily it will bind, and you'll see the light stop flashing. And there you go. And just to show you, it is bounded. See, I've got a throttle there as well. So the video feed, as you can see, just to show you that as well, pretty decent camera on there, if I may hasten to add. One of the things you'll notice, obviously the latency is absolutely brilliant, so flying this FPV indoors is going to be no problem, and it's got a decent field of view as well, so no problem there. So I think the only thing left to do now is to give this a flight test and then draw some conclusions to tell you what we think. Okay, so conclusions. As you saw it flying. It flies exceptionally well. I think the key question people will have is, do I go and buy myself an original Inductrix, buy the modular parts for that and do that up, or do I buy one of these? And I think the honest answer is, if you're looking for something to get you into FPV flying, you don't want to muck about soldering things, and more importantly, you will have a bit of a trial and error with these things. I did make a few bodge ups when I first started doing this. This, for me, is probably your best option. It's very comparable to the Tiny Whoop. In fact, it's quite identical. The additional shell here, gives it a little bit more character, but more importantly, protects a lot of those electronics inside. And as far as flying is concerned, it uses the same safe technology that's in all those Horizon crafts. And it just flies beautifully. And, like I said, it's a great entry into FPV flying. So with that, I'll leave that with you. There's some links, as I said before, with some suppliers for these things, as well as potentially batteries if you're looking for additional batteries as well. So, you've been watching Sunny Love, and this is Tech Love Reviews.